The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum. Uh-oh. Hold on. We need to be in here. What? Yeah. Thank you. Fantastic Forum. Assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us while we take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
Next, he's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Indeed.
You watch
Next. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses. Back.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Okay. As for myself, huh?
That concert this weekend took my voice.
Yeah, look, it deserved your voice. My name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a straight show for you today. No gay stuff at all, apparently. You know, it's like, wait, what?
We'll see.
All right, exactly. Right. Promises. Indeed. We got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about the latest movie from coming out of the DC Universe, Blue Beetle. We're also going to be talking to you all about the one of the latest comic book series coming out of Skybound, Void Rivals. And we'll talk about, of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll let you know how it is that you can get down Fantastic Forum in just a minute. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Also, let's just have the intern tell us how it is you can let us know what you want to hear.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
All right. Thank you very much, intern. So yeah, go to FantasticForum.live. You can hit the call in button there and join in the conversation, or you can jump into chat, whether that be over in Twitch, whether that be on YouTube, and you can go ahead and just state your piece there if you like. So feel free to utilize any or all of those options. I know we only got Oz for limited time here today, so we're gonna just jump right into it. Blue Beetle.
Did you watch Gran Turismo?
No. What's that?
Ooh. It's a video game movie.
Look, Gran Turismo.
Not really. It's more of a documentary. It's a docudrama.
Well, we were gonna preamble with it, but nobody saw it.
Except, wait, so you didn't see it either, Jay?
No, I saw it.
Oh, okay. Got you. How did you like it?
Dude, it was amazing. Like, I loved it.
It looks good to me, but I don't know. Look, and it did okay at the box office, apparently, right?
Number one, beating at 17 million, followed by Barbie, which was 15. Blue Beetle was 12.
Damn.
Oppenheimer went down to 8 million.
I mean, listen, like Barbie and Oppenheimer in a different summer movie season movies that came out that long ago would not still be in like the top 5. Like the fact that Blue Beetle, is Blue Beetle in week 3? Was this week 3 for Blue Beetle, or was that week 2?
Week 2.
Yeah, like the fact that Blue Beetle.
It's been week 1.
Say what?
Some would call it the week 1, but go ahead.
Why would you call it?
I would call it week 3.
Just keep it moving. Keep it moving. And keep it moving.
What?
I haven't had my alcohol today. All I've had is coffee.
Oh man, like I was just cranky. I don't know. Was that just a bad joke? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was really good in my head, but then not all the words that I thought of in my head came out when I said it out loud. Like I skipped a few words.
Oh, okay.
Rearranged them so that by the time it came out, it made no sense.
Well, why'd you get mad at me for that? Is what I want to know. What I didn't do that to you.
Oh, I love how he says keep it moving, and then you have him explain his whole problem.
That's where my anger comes from, because you're prolonging my agony.
I wasn't trying to prolong it. I was just trying to understand.
I'm just sitting here. I'm humiliated, and you just asking me to re-explain my trauma to the audience, even though everybody just saw me shit my pants, and now I have to take off my pants, wave my dong around, and show them the shit stains. That's what you're asking me to do. Thanks.
Rounding out the top 5, Ninja Turtle with 7 million.
Now Ninja Turtles has been out even longer than all those movies, right?
Yeah, that's been out for a while.
Not longer than Barbie, though.
I think so, right?
Ninja Turtles came out August 2nd.
Barbie came out like July 4th.
Barbie didn't come out July 4th.
Something like that. I don't
know. Barbie is in week 6. Ninja Turtles only in week 4. Like I don't have dates, but I'm looking at the box office and it has week numbers.
Barbie came out July 21st.
There it is. Okay.
It's July 4th.
Practically July 4th. You're right.
4 times 5. July 4th.
4 times 5 is 21.
July 4th times 5 plus 1. Non-parenthetical.
So but anyway,
Gran Turismo was great. I had so much fun. I actually saw like 3 movies that day, and it was definitely like the showstopper. Like it was the best of the bunch.
Has Jay speechless or tongue tied? I don't know. What else did you go see that day?
Strays and Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Was Strays terrible?
Yeah. Honestly, Strays was okay. Terrible is a little unfair. Like I did laugh a couple times, but it is really bad, like uninspired.
But it's part of that because it is a trend, and there's been other things in other mediums. Like there's the one with Lisa Kudrow, the cartoon about the animals that live in the house.
Oh, God, that is
like
that show is so bad. I don't know why it keeps getting renewed or I keep watching.
Yeah, the first like 2 or 3 episodes were funny enough, and the concept was okay. And then Strays, I feel, has a similar concept. But then we read the comic book Stray Dogs, which is amazing. And then after I read that comic book, I didn't want to watch the Lisa Kudrow show anymore. And when I saw this movie,
it's called Housebroken.
Yeah,
where Lisa Kudrow is a dog that runs a therapy group for other animals.
Nope.
And it's on Fox.
Nope. Oh, look.
That's
why people don't watch network television right there.
Yeah, I would avoid it. I mean, I've seen like most of it.
It's like on season 4 already.
Dude, it's
That's
so
crazy.
weird that it keeps going. Like, I don't understand.
Hopefully, thankfully for the strike, it might not keep going, but
Like all these good cartoons are being canceled, but Housebroken just keeps going.
Yeah.
It gets better promotion like that.
Which is weird because I have hardly seen anything for it. Like it randomly showed up to purchase, and so I just bought it, and now it just won't go away.
Well, I think look that shows you're part of the problem, Jay.
Yeah.
Like you should have seen Lisa Kudrow as a dog therapist and be like, nope, not my dollar.
Well, that's not the worst part of the show. Like that's actually that part actually kind of works. It's more the episodic premise. Like that would be a better movie than Strays, probably.
Yeah, but that's not the bar that we're supposed to be setting. Where it's like it's better than Strays. It's like no. What the bar we're trying to set is.
Have you seen some of these Fox cartoons?
Which ones?
Like the other one, was it like with the kid and the?
I like Duncanville.
You like
was
Duncanville?
pretty good. Yeah.
And then there's that other show that's like a mockumentary, like a Parks and Rec, that comes out around the same time too. And it's funny, but I'm the only person on earth that finds it funny.
Like I'm not even sure what show that is.
It's so weird, but like the chick is running for mayor and she's like kind of pretty, and some guys like starstruck, so they take a picture. They're trying to like they're staring at her, and she's like, "Take a picture, it'll last longer." And then like a dude she's actually posing for a picture with another dude at the same time, and that shit cracked me up. But it's like that's probably the only funny moment in like 2 seasons. But I keep watching it.
And what's it called? Do you know what it's called?
It's one of those names like the shitty bump funk Illinois, like you know how they do like the city, they like, and it's this like it's trying to be kind of like that movie. Shit, one of the David Guest movies, like Best in Show or one of those. Like it's trying to be like one of those movies, but it's not that great. Like those again, that premise probably would be better in a movie where you have a finite time space. So you're like, okay, it has a beginning, middle, and an end, even though it feels like what you would call it, like a stream of consciousness kind of filming thing, And same with the Lisa Kudrow thing too. It's like if they made a movie instead of a series, like that probably would work better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in Lisa Kudrow, Larry. She died for our sins. Don't knock your head like that, you infidel.
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's like she's talented. I just don't think that premise is a good premise. But what do I know? Animal therapy.
Well, I think one of you or Nia might like it. Like I feel like one of you would be like into it.
Maybe.
And would make the other watch.
Well, Lawrence hates animals, so probably not him. Like he doesn't.
I hate animals.
Yeah, you don't want them to get therapy because you want to watch them suffer.
Yeah, you want them to hurt inside, just like humans. It's bad enough we live our lifestyle. Now they have to suffer their traumas too. Like we can get therapy. There's BetterHelp.com for people, but not for dogs. That's what you don't want. All right, get you, Larry.
Dogs don't have smartphones.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Thanks to you. Yeah, thanks to you.
Thanks to me. I'm the one prevented dogs from getting smartphones.
You're not helping.
No, like I'm all for animals. If you're not having therapy.
You're hurting.
So Jay, all this to say that like Gran Turismo was like a solid 5 from you.
Is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, I would give it a solid 5. Like,
okay.
I like those like underdog sports movies, kind of. So it already has something going for it, but the true story video game aspect of it was like interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I like that they got the guy to like do stunts.
But isn't it like?
I'm sorry. When I said that, I mean the actual guy it's based on is like one of the stunt driver
I get
in
it.
the movie.
Isn't it like the Last Starfighter, but with cars?
Is the last
You
Starfighter
know,
based on a true story?
I've always said, like, it's so weird. I've never seen The Last Starfighter.
He's
Jay.
lucky he has tenure.
In the words of Larry, you're doing yourself a disservice, friend.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. It's a great movie, man.
Okay, so hang up.
I don't even
Pause,
understand.
talk about Beetle. Jay, we'll talk to you next week. Go watch Last Starfighter.
I'm like, I don't even understand how you get out the 80s and not having seen The Last Starfighter. I don't even understand. Like, it wasn't even like there was that many options. But anyway,
It's like
it happens.
I can't wait till you do the
always
Breath
just
of the
like
Wild.
played video games when it was on.
Yeah.
And Tanks was awesome.
Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle.
I'm mad at you guys because we didn't talk about oh, actually, you know what? Let's play the music first and then I can do my little Blue Beetle rant about how I hate you guys that I seem to do every week.
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
Shout out to Tiger Claw Theater. All right. Moses, the floor is yours.
I thought the movie was coming out before it was, and you guys didn't tell me when it was coming out. And then when it came out, we didn't talk about it. We waited an extra like 2 weeks. So I ate my Reese's Pieces, my promotional Reese's peanut butter cups that they gave me at Comic-Con. I had been saving them to eat them on the show so I could review the movie alongside their
those things spoil quick, huh?
I don't know. Larry still has his.
I thought he was leaving the show. Like he's done with you.
He has a Blue Beetle chair. Look how thematically, like, accurate he is. It looks like his costume. Yeah, he just left. Let's all wait for Larry. Yeah,
we'll just sit here and wait and stare at his chair.
Yeah. No, leave the chair. We did it for us. Let's do it for him.
Tuned in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You did do that to me.
Like I don't know what, like, y'all didn't have to whatchamacallit. Y'all could have kept talking about it, but yes, I went to go get the promotional. There it is.
Yeah. I wish he would have done pre-production and had it ready.
I don't know what to tell you, friend. Like, I do have mine still, but I wasn't planning on eating these. I was planning on keeping them for.
I remember I had to eat mine because Emily and I had the munchies, and then and I was like, man, like I so wish like I would have saved it for the show. And then Emily goes into her backpack and goes, she kept one, a spare one in her pocket.
Too funny. She said,
and I go, that's why I love you. And then we opened it, that one too.
Oh, see, there it is.
Hey, we had the munchies, man.
All right, so clearly Lawrence is the biggest Blue Beetle fan in this group. So
his whole light is a Blue Beetle. His chair's Blue Beetle theme.
Yeah. So go ahead. Well,
right.
This specific Blue Beetle, I don't think he likes Cord, but he's definitely a Jamie King fan. So tell us about this movie.
No, Ted Cord's cool.
Yeah, like they said, Jamie King, like he's a swimsuit model.
So, yeah, Blue Beetle. It's the story of wait, now when you say King, are you talking about?
He's saying his name in English.
Oh,
so
I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I don't speak Spanish.
It means kings, but he fucked up because he's white. So he just
there's only one of him.
Yeah, but his name is Kings.
Got it. I was like, Jamie King. I'm like, that's not Blue Beetle's name. You know? But yeah, Jaime Reyes. There it is. Right.
Jaime, like,
so
you're not Jewish.
Oh, how you say?
We don't know.
Jaime?
Take off his pants.
It's Jaime.
Jaime.
Yeah.
So listen, this movie is basically about him. It's about family. It's definitely about family. That's too funny. But about Jaime getting, inadvertently getting the scarab that gives him the Blue Beetle powers, and that gets him into a whole bunch of hijinks where he has to protect his family, and he has to, try to beat the bad guy to stop them from, I guess, basically like capturing him and ripping the tech from his dead body. So that's basically what the movie's about. Anybody have anything to add to that?
Omac?
Omac's in it.
They say Omac.
Wait. Did you not actually get to see it, Mo?
No. I've been busy. I've been in the middle of a hostile takeover in the business world. So
right.
Yeah. I'm not. Right. I'm not. I haven't been able to. Yeah, I just finished like Void Rivals today, but I also started it today. But yeah. So
I'm not really familiar with Omac, so I can't say how good his representation is. But they do say Omac a lot.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
but they should have done commercials.
A lot of people
commercials now, like, and that's one of the things about the movie. Like, we're talking about it in the second week, but they say, hey, like, the promotion wasn't that great, and it's like, you got to get the few like comic book people that are on the fence about seeing this to want to see it. And if you throw Omac in the trailer, at least just somebody saying it, people like me would go see it.
I think people like you would go see it and get pissed off because it's
right, but they don't give a fuck about that. Like, we've seen Transformers, Michael Bay Transformers, like they don't give a fuck about that. Like, they want asses and seats. Like, I always say asses and seats. Like, the promotion should have that.
Like, it's not classic Omac or new Omac.
It doesn't matter. Like, if somebody says it in the trailer, I'm in.
Is it not new
I'll
Omac?
be angry, but I'm in. Yeah.
I feel like it is. It is not the new. It's not new Omac.
No, I mean, they kind of do.
It looks like
that,
new Omac.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
New Omac looks like
a gladiator. Like, he looks like Gladiator on steroids from X-Men.
No, this guy, he looks more like a
no.
Warhammer.
That's the classic Omac that looks like that, though.
Yeah, but the new one kind of did that too. 252.
That's what I'm saying. Like the new Omac, I feel like looks like that thing. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that, like it's a solid representation, because it obviously is doing its own thing. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like what I'm trying to think of what comic I saw it in, but it looks just like that to me.
Nah, it doesn't.
Nah, he's like, nah. Okay, well, listen, you're the DC guy.
If they would have made the costume upgrade more kind of like organic, like Blue Beetles, then they could have done it. But no, it looks more like a cheap ass Iron Man outfit he's wearing.
Yeah, that's kind of what classic Omac looked like too.
He doesn't have that giant mohawk either.
No, that doesn't look anything like what the thing is from the movie, though.
But that's new Omac.
Also, movie Omac.
They called him Cool God.
What? He's Mexican?
Yeah, or
no.
Some Southern or Central American country.
Yeah,
I don't think they actually say it. They might, but I don't.
Oh, they really just gave you Bane, but called it Omac.
Yeah,
it's not even Bane.
Well, not because no Venom, but it is like a one-man army thing.
They do say like it. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what Omac stands for. Yeah,
yeah.
But it's the more like, don't they have like? I can't, and that's the thing. Like, I could have swore I remember reading relatively recently, and I don't mean recently like to line up with the movie, but I mean like in the not that distant past of DC Comics, where they had like Omac, it's like an Omac army, which is what they're kind of like going towards in this. And this guy,
right? Yeah, it's after
is
like
first.
Identity Crisis. Sometime after, yeah, where they all started turning into. They also did it in one of the animated TV. I want to say TV shows. Could have been.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe
no,
it's
they did both.
animated.
Though. Like it was in the comics, and then it
Yeah.
was adapted into one of the shows. But I know what you're talking about, and they look like skinny. They look like Blue Beetle with a mohawk almost.
Okay. See, but what I will give them credit for in this movie is I was under the impression, just because, I mean, as much as I thought Blue Beetle would be a decent movie, I was definitely thinking like, okay, it's going to fall into all the regular tropes of these movies usually do, right? And so
I was going to ask you a question.
He'll be back. But
will he?
But I was thinking like, okay, the main villain is 100% going to be like an evil Blue Beetle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to be that. Like, it's not. I didn't think it was going to be like another Scarab, but I thought like almost like what you're saying, Oz, was they were going to make the OMAC, but make it seem as if like it's basically like the bad version of Blue Beetle because it's like derived from the same tech or something like that, And they didn't do that, which, I'll give them credit for. Like that, they needed the Scarab because they needed it like as like a MacGuffin kind of deal, but it wasn't like, okay, this is just the evil version of that. And so, I gave it a little bit of credit for that because it could have easily been that. And, I know people still weren't necessarily like that thrilled about the OMAC because they're just like, like I think a lot of people feel like how you felt, Oz, where it's like, it just kind of seems like a rundown Iron Man kind of deal or something. But I actually was like, oh, like not, and again, like because of the look of it, I was like, somebody's trying, like they're trying to tell some comic stories. So,
and I mean, you keep calling him OMAC, but I mean, it's Carapax.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The villain wasn't OMAC. the technology they put on him, they called the OMAC because I was going to create their army, but the character is actually Carapax.
Okay, who's Carapax?
He's the character in the movie, the villain.
Oh, like, but
he's the other like Beetle, like
he's like a red beetle that kind of looks like a Master Chief.
Like Carapax means like armor. It's like a shell.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're. Oh, okay. Like the part of a beetle. Like is that? I thought it was I thought that was pronounced different, but I know what you're saying now. Okay. So
and then
and he does.
Well, I didn't read Blue Beetle comics.
He actually does look a lot more like what Carapax is supposed to look like. That's why I kept getting confused when you kept calling him OMAC.
Oh, see, I didn't realize that.
He's not.
And I see where you're. I see. I'm looking up. Like I didn't even know this character existed. Okay, like
we're here to explain comics to you, Lawrence.
Yeah, perfect time to be hosting a comic book talk show.
Wait, so his name is Conrad Carapax?
I don't know what his name is in the movie. Well, his last name is actually Carapax in the movie, but I don't know his full name. Could have been Conrad. I don't know. It's not important. I enjoyed this movie a little bit more than I expected to, which is probably because I came in with really low expectations.
Oh,
like,
I mean, like aside from what you like in comics, like what you expect from in comics as well, but like seeing the trailer, like, I mean, the shit looked fun no matter what.
This is the thing. This is the thing about this movie.
Yeah,
when they're actually doing Blue Beetle stuff, it's good. I mean, I like it. It's a little generic at this point, but it's still it's fun and entertaining. It's when the family gets involved, that it becomes nonsense. It's just stupid. Like I like the idea that they wanna make it more about him and his family, but that family just got on my nerves. And it was a shame that there's like one good family member and he doesn't make it.
And it's George Lopez?
No.
Oh, if only.
Wait, what?
If only George Lopez didn't make it. It's fucked up.
I really feel like George Lopez tried to write some of the Mexican jokes in this because they sounded like something he would say and they weren't funny either.
Well, and that's part of the problem. Like, well, I don't know. Like, I haven't seen it, but the writers probably harness. Oh, he's in it. Let's write how he would say something, and then he just gets paid to do it, and he says the lines, which is part of the issue that was with the Blue Beetle New 52 comic, and I'm like, and that, like when you say it like that, I'm like, okay, so the movie's like the comic.
Wait, so what was the problem with the New 52 comic?
It was like the guy writing it was writing it how he thought Hispanic people talk.
It sounded weird when he would add the Spanish words into the text. Like it just didn't flow right. It didn't sound right.
Spanglish is an actual language, and it's depending. It's like Smurf talk. Like where you put the Smurf really does the thing, and that's how Spanglish is. So if you're writing for Spanglish but you don't know how to speak Spanglish, then vale pura verga. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work.
They also use Spanglish to get away with dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, a lot of cussing in it in Spanish.
Yeah, nobody really takes Spanish cussing seriously.
I do.
Thankfully.
Wait, so you don't feel like the person that wrote it though, like wrote the Spanglish well?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what they're doing is adding a whole lot of like okay, we have a Mexican character. What can we do? We're gonna add all this Mexican stuff and really amp that up. And then they get George Lopez and he comes in and so they try to write it like how most said they kind of try to write it like how he would say it. It's like a bad George Lopez skit. Like, honestly, if they got George Lopez, I really would wish he would have played the dad and played it serious. I think it would have hit a lot better, even though the guy that played the dad was really good.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know, like, I've been wanting a serious George Lopez role. Like, I think he's ready for that. I think he's been ready, and they haven't given it to him.
Like the whole Uncle Rudy, you don't need him at all in this movie. And in fact, a lot of the stuff that he does kind of makes it. A lot of stuff that he does is just doesn't make sense. It's he invents this magical signal jamming machine that the Scarab could have just given that ability. I mean, it's mechanical and it's been interfaced with that system. It could have done it on its own. Instead, you got George Lopez with this machine because they want to do the joke, and that's all it is. The joke at all. He's got this machine. He's got to kick it, and then Chapulín Colorado shows up in the cartoon. Like that. That's all they try to play for comedy, even though that scene is a heist scene.
Yeah.
And it actually makes the Mexicans look kind of dumb when they do that.
How does he look dumb if he built an entire see? And that's a weird thing to me because
not him. The security guards in charge of this place are freaking out because their cameras just went out and this other feed is in their cameras and they're doing everything they can to do their job. And you got the one Mexican in that room going, ha, ha, Chapulín, like he's been fucking smoking weed all day.
How's it the one Mexican in the room? Isn't everybody there Mexican?
There was 3 guys. There was 2 white guys and 1 Mexican. And the Mexican is the one sitting there laughing at the TV while the other guys are doing their job. Like, hey, what the hell is happening?
Are you sure they're white guys?
Yeah, they're white enough.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying is, it's in the whole thing is in Mexico, right?
Well, there's white Mexicans
in Mexico.
Yeah, like
what movie did you watch?
No, it's not in Mexico.
It's like a Florida city.
Yeah,
it's El Palmetto or something like that.
Like Florida, USA.
The building was in Florida.
Dude, it's Cord Industries, Lawrence.
Florida is a Spanish word, but it's not Mexico.
No. But wait.
You know, Blue Beetle lives in America. You know that, right? Like his family, they all live in America, right? You understand that?
I know. I understand that they like, but okay, all right.
No,
All
I
right.
thought you thought
I thought they
totally
said they were on like a
Mexico?
key or an island or something.
That's if they're on a key, that's part of Florida.
No, that's when they get to that's when Blue Beetle gets captured and they go to the secret lab. I think that was on an island. But when they break into Cord Industries to get the watch, they're breaking into Cord Industries. They were just there a few minutes before.
Got the watch?
There's a special watch that does special watch things.
You know, either way, like I felt like the George Lopez character was like I felt like it was cool because it was consistent throughout. Like this dude is like a conspiracy theorist. And so it makes sense. And not only is he a conspiracy theorist, but he's smart. So it makes sense that he would have a machine like that on hand because he believes they are actually trying to listen.
All right, but I'm saying you don't.
Honestly, I thought that was distracting. Like, it feels weird that he would have this machine. Like, I get that he's smart, but it feels weird that he has this machine and like he does nothing with it.
How do you know he's not doing anything with it though?
I mean,
like it could just be on at the house.
I also find it annoying that he's supposedly this mechanical genius.
If you like start selling that tech, like he could be rich.
Yeah, but the conspiracy, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's like, if they know
they hate money, I don't think that's true.
They start the movie saying they need money.
Dude, what I'm saying is if they find out he has it, then they kill it, and then no one has it. It's like the same way how the conspiracy theorists feel about the electric car and how they've been killing that for however long.
Yeah, but they would pay him off.
Not necessarily.
If he's
so
smart,
you know, like, yeah. But I'm sorry, Oz. What were you saying?
I don't know. You guys jumped in, and now I lost my train of thought. George Lopez was annoying. You don't need him. You take him out of that movie.
Liked
completely.
him.
The whole family, I hate that family.
And did you see? I thought all of them were good, and that's what the thing. Like, and I felt like they weren't like they didn't overuse them to me, because that's the thing that would bother me normally, where it's like, okay, all of a sudden, if it seems like we're doing the movie about the family, and it's like, okay, no, like there is a moment where we do shift focus, but we shift focus for a reason to the family, and it's only for a moment, and then we're back to Blue Beetle again, which is,
and that moment kind of undercuts what the movie is trying to do, or what Jamie's trying to do. Like his whole thing is he's bonded with this scarab that was developed by an alien military to kill.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does. It kills, and he's trying to stop it from killing, which is great. That's the hero. He doesn't want to kill and all that. But the family that he grew up with is just going around mowing down all kind of people, talking about, oh, you hit him 20 points. You know, it just it takes away from what they're trying to do with Jaime. Like, where did he get that moral code if he's got this murderous family that just doesn't care about people?
Well, he doesn't have a murderous family. He has
they try to portray the grandma as ultra religious, as a lot of Mexican grandmas are.
Right.
But then like she goes on a killing spree herself with like no problem. Like there's not even like, just put in a scene where, you know, she gets down and says, look, sorry, Lord, but that's my grandson, and you're gonna have to not look at me for the next few minutes because I gotta do this. You know,
honestly, because of like things like that one movie we reviewed that I loved. Like, I'm used to like Hispanic people just being militarized if that's politically correct to say.
Militarizing.
Like, they've been fighting for their independence like forever.
Which is what the grandma, like, they gave her a revolutionary background.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like that just seems normal to me.
Right. So they've normalized that Mexicans are violent people to you. It's what I'm hearing.
That's not
I mean,
the same.
Militarized and violent are a little different. I mean, obviously you can, like, if you wanted to be crass, you could call Mexicans violent and lazy.
And that's the thing, though. They don't, like, she never shows any kind of remorse for what she has to do. Like, if she's doing it because she has to do, which we know because her grandson is in danger, I understand it, but there's no remorse ever on her face for what she has to do. There's nothing but joy in the murder.
Look, there's God on one side and there's the revolution on the other. Like, you can hold both of them, one in each hand. I mean, what's the saying? Praise the Lord and pass the bullets.
Yeah, something like that, right? Pass the ammunition. Yeah. It honestly, it didn't strike me as like that whole, like, that odd, only because it just seemed like, yeah.
Because you're used to seeing that from Hollywood. I get it.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that grandma knows how to handle business and she has a good reason to handle business. It's not like she's out here hurting innocent people. It's like she's out here.
How does she know they're not innocent people?
I should say, I defend the scene and the story, but I wasn't a huge fan of that either. Just personally, there's a lot of this movie I just wasn't a fan of and didn't need to see.
Oh, wow.
Right. And that's all I'm saying. It's not necessary.
Right. Like, I would agree with you there. I would agree that it's not necessary.
I say it's not necessary, and we spend 20 minutes with me having to fight for my position. Jay says that, okay.
No. I'm just saying that he's look, you're both allowed to have that opinion. I don't agree with it. Like, I'm not changing my mind. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, you think it's unnecessary, but that's, to me, it's like the family aspect of this movie is what made this movie less generic. Because what I'll give Blue Beetle is that the parts that were generic, because a lot of it is, like, you can tell, like, story, like, you could call story beats. You know what I mean? A lot of superhero movies these days will go by those beats, and it boils down to execution. How will they execute to be like, okay, is it executing at such a level that makes it stand out? And I felt like Blue Beetle executed these story beats, like the rote ones, really well. Like it did the superhero origin thing. It did the whole, like, learning how to use the powers better thing. It did the whole, trying to friggin' fight the bad guy for the first time kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it did all those kind of, like, regular stuff, but it executed pretty decently on them, in my opinion.
Like I said, when Blue Beetle's doing Blue Beetle stuff, it's great.
Right. But what I'm saying is, the only thing that gives this movie its own real flair is the family parts. Because it's like that's what makes it unique, as opposed to, me watching Spider-Man again.
I thought that's what made it generic. And it kind of made it a cop-out, too. It's like, I don't know. Like, there's a scene that I have a real problem with. And it's the end where Jamie's about to kill Carapace. And the Scarab stops him. And it's like, it's weird because the Scarab has been trying to kill. But for me, it's like, I know if I was a hero, I would be fine with people coming after me. But once you come up with, like, if you go after my family, then you're fucked. Like, that's kind of the end of you. And so for him to like let this guy that come after his family go, it's like, that's the most generic shit ever.
Well, Joe, we know that you take pleasure in bloodlust, so it makes sense that you feel that.
I take pleasure in my family not being attacked and not having their home blown up. Like, that's what I take pleasure in.
Like, that's the less bloodlusty thing Jay's ever said. Like, because it has a purpose. Like, he's not gonna do it until that happens.
Yeah. Like, come after me.
That's what he says, but that's not what he'll do in real life. It's the excuse for the bloodlust.
The dicho eso es mucho trecho. Like, that's, that's what it is.
Honestly, if you're like a Joker or and you're like mass killing, like you only get like 3 times, and then I kill you on the 4th.
Yeah, and also, No Way Home did that scene better.
No Way Home.
Well, listen, nobody's here is gonna say that Blue Beetle has done anything better than No Way Home. The only thing though is like I guess where I take umbrage is to be like the family dynamic inside Blue Beetle is what makes it generic. It's like what's the other superhero movie that you could point to that's like, oh, it's just like that superhero movie?
Spider-Verse.
When it comes to that family aspect.
Spider-Verse.
Was it better than Spider-Verse?
The new one.
No.
The new one. It's all about family. That's crazy. Like, there's a whole section where they're trying to save their family. Like, it's all about how the spider people are with their father.
It's not the same.
Gwen and Miles and I forget the Indian
one. I'll give you that. Like Miles Morales' family, which is just his mom and dad, is in it. If that's what you're trying to say, sure.
And his uncle's in it, which also is a big aspect too. Yeah, it's a big aspect to. He's a better Uncle Rudy. Yes, he's a better Uncle Rudy than
his uncle. His uncle is literally only in like the last 5 minutes,
and it's like the most impactful 5 minutes.
No,
that uncle has ever
you're
done.
Talking nonsense, Oz. You're talking. You and Joe are talking nonsense. Show me a movie where the family plays a significant role in the superhero genre.
Oz is getting ready to be an uncle, and clearly, Larry, you've always been a bad uncle. You don't know what it's like to be an uncle.
Listen, I'm just saying, like the family aspect is, I feel it was a unique thing for Blue Beetle that you don't normally see in superhero movies, and that's the only point I'm contesting. Really, well, I'm contesting the fact that I didn't think that they were needless, and I don't even feel like they were overused. And I'm especially contesting the point that they're generic, because I feel like that it's not like you don't see that in superhero fiction, or at least I haven't. So
that's because you don't watch Spanish superhero fiction.
I mean, if you're saying I don't watch superheroes in Spanish, you're right. I don't speak Spanish, so
that's no excuse.
None of
us Japanese. We watch anime.
Yeah, but it's subtitled or dubbed.
Oh, they can't dub Spanish? My bad.
Mistake.
I
haven't seen it. They haven't look.
It's not like there's a button that has 2 C's on it that would put words that you can read. We
got 2 Spanish speakers on Fantastic Forum. Like, I haven't heard not one of y'all be like, you know what we should watch is whatever Spanish speaking superhero thing you feel exists you're referring to.
We talk about Chapulín Colorado all the time.
We talk about Condorito all the time, which is actually both a book, a comic book, and
but I'm saying
movies.
We're not. But all you got to do is say, let's review it.
We never do something, and then we tell you the stuff that we do.
We don't talk about it. We don't review it.
Because you won't read it.
Oh yeah. I won't read it because I don't.
Or watch the movie. Did you watch the movie?
I'm a monster.
Did you watch the movie?
The movie was in English.
Suggest the movie and we'll watch it.
We did.
Jay suggested it.
Wait, I did?
Just say yes.
Exactly.
Because I know I was on the fence about Condorito. If I suggested it, it was only to force myself to watch it.
Yeah,
but,
that's
yeah,
what
I'm
you
on
did.
the fence about that one.
That's
and it's
what
like
you did.
$20 to buy it.
Yeah.
Well, back then it wasn't even for sale. Like you have to go to the theater to see it.
Right.
So, all right. Look, I know we only got. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, as far as superhero fiction, I don't really like. I don't know. That's like too narrow. Like, superhero movies are basically just action movies. And so I've seen a lot of action movies where the family is a huge part. Also, I've seen a lot of TV, like doing it in a TV show and doing it in a movie aren't too. I mean, they're kind of separate, but I put them on the same level. Like it's like I've seen
every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is about family.
Shazam was about family.
Family.
Oh, jeez.
The Fast and Furious movies are all about family. And don't tell me that's not a superhero genre now. Like, it may have started as a racing thing, but the dude's a superhero.
Fast Furious is not superheroes.
That's like Ghost Rider without the flames. He's Sweat Rider.
He's not Ghost Rider.
He's Sweat Rider.
And yeah, Oz is right. Shazam was about family. And Deadpool 2 was about family.
Deadpool 2?
Well, Deadpool 1.
It's about family.
I don't think so.
Hey, that's what he says at the beginning and the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's what he says in the same way how when Oz pushes that button. Like, and listen, we don't even need to talk about Shazam and the supposed family aspect of that. Like, you know,
they don't even have a monkey.
That's what Moses is gonna knock. Like, where's their monkey? So, I know Oz, you're gonna have to go soon, so we should rate Blue Beetle, and yeah. So, Oz, what would you rate Blue Beetle?
Did you give your opinion on the Ted Kord stuff?
Oh no, you're right. We should talk about all that.
I really enjoyed the Ted Kord stuff, especially because they go all the way back. They take it back to Daggett. I was like, son of a bitch. They went like to the start. I wish we would have got Ted Kord. But the way they did it, I'm kind of happy with it. I know they want to bring Ted Kord in for the Booster Gold show. So I'm assuming these are going to be connected. And we'll see what they do with him. But yeah, I like what they gave him his credit as the original Blue Beetle superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with news reports and everything.
How'd you feel about the daughter?
She was fine. I don't know. Does that actress talk like that, or was she trying to do an accent? I think she's supposed to be Brazilian, right? In that movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's got like this weird Gal Gadot way of talking that was a little distracting. As a character, she's fine too. She not super impressive, but doesn't do anything like bad or anything. I wish instead of George Lopez's character, I wish she would have been the one to kind of know how to work the Kord tech a little bit better, you know, because George Lopez shows up and he just like knows how to run Ted Kord's computer, where you have a character right there that grew up around that, at least for a little bit, like would have a better idea. So yeah, I think they could have used her a little bit better, but I don't have a problem with her either way, except for the way she talks.
Okay. So, yeah, let's do it. Oz, what would you rate Blue Beetle?
I'm gonna go with 2.5. It's worth watching if you got the time, but I wouldn't pay for it. Like if you already have Max, I don't know why you would have it in the first place. But if you do, and it comes out in there, just watch it there. Like I have it.
We'll have it for Clone High.
I have it because they gave it to me free for like 3 months because I have YouTube.
And Miller's Crossing. Miller's Crossing is on Max. And Blood Simple.
I don't know any of that. So yeah, 2.5, and
is it on Max already?
Smallville did it better.
Okay.
You guys should go watch the Smallville episode with Blue Beetle. It's way
what
better.
about the tacos? Like we talked about the tacos last week, and then you didn't bring them up at all.
Because we talked about them last week. I bring that's all part of the throw as much Mexican on the screen as you can. So yeah, it's them hemp tacos that didn't even look good. His truck, George Lopez's truck, is named the Taco. The horn plays like cucaracha. Like it's just it was getting insulting the further along that movie.
Like the comic, like the New 52 comic. Like, why are you faulting a movie for being like the comic?
Because they were like the wrong comics. New 52's been done for like 10 years.
Yeah, but that's where this Blue Beetle came out, right? Like,
yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I know so. I read those books.
Like I said, Smallville did it better, and they had Booster Gold in that episode too.
See, that's the bias right there. He's like Booster Gold's in it, so it's better.
Yeah, it's better. It's a better Jaime Reyes too.
Yeah. Jay, what would you rate Blue Beetle?
I would give it a 2. It was pretty generic, and I'm kind of tired of origin stories. Especially when they're presented so linearly. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't very good. Pretty generic, I thought.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, listen, I'd give it a 3.5. I liked it personally, and it's probably the best time. Not even probably, it's the best time I've had watching a DC movie since like the Batman. And
even after War World,
huh?
Even after War World,
War World. Yeah,
that shit was tight.
It was okay. It's like but no, I
better than okay.
Say again.
For you, Blue Beetle is better than okay by a little bit.
Oh, it's better than it's much better than okay to me. Like I would say Blue Beetle was good. It's not great, but it's definitely good, and it, like, in my opinion, clears that bar easy. Like I'm looking into chat and I'm realizing that I'm actually agreeing with most of what Tiger Claw has to say in chat. Like Tiger Claw, I know Tiger Claw like the grandma, you like George Lopez. I'm like, look, Tiger Claw's right.
Tiger Claw also never ate a tamale.
Speaking of, I do want to go through a couple of these. Tiger Claw says Blue Beetle is officially the first DCU character, but that's after the fact because the movie was made long before James Gunn took over.
Yeah, that's true.
He says in the movie they were watching El Chaplin, Colorado. Anyone who's Latino knows who that is. And he says, speaking of family aspect, that is something you'll have to deal with The Brave and the Bold when that comes out. Batman and his son, who knows, maybe the whole Bat family will show up too.
Yeah, that could be the case. So, yeah. But, Mo, you have thoughts on the review?
I wish I could have heard more from Jay,
Yeah,
but
man.
aside from that,
Wish
I give you guys a review of it for like it's about 3.5.
I'll
I
take it.
think I think a little more Jay. Like I was literally about to ask Jay a question and he left to go take a shit or something, and then
Sorry.
That's what he did.
yeah, that takes off half a point. So, but yeah, what I would like to know from Jay is like we were talking about the OMAC, like that threw us off of the rails a little bit, even though it's still within the rail. But like you not knowing or not being that familiar, like how'd you feel how that played out in the movie, in as uh what would benefit the movie, like the way the story flows, the way the story is. Yeah.
Um, honestly, I like the OMAC. It reminded me of something else. Like, I don't know, it looks weird, like boxy kind of,
Mhm.
uh, almost like that one digital villain in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but
Yeah.
like metal. But yeah, it was interesting, like the OMAC, and then Carapace was pretty cool. Um, I actually did like him. I mean, he was kind of a bitch, but uh, I did like him.
Okay. That's kind of the question I wanted to ask earlier because it's like we all had opinion. Like I haven't even seen the movie and I had an opinion on Omac in the movie, you know. But
Mhm.
like Jenny's not as invested, and realistically, like I'm not even as invested. Like everybody's asking me, "Oh, you ready for Blue Beetle?" And I'm like, honestly, I don't like that character. I don't like his fucking comic. I don't like I want Ted Kord's Blue Beetle. I like that shit. You know, like that's
Mm-hmm.
what we get when if you like Watchmen, then you should be getting a Night Owl movie. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
that's what that shit is. If you're I'm a Ted Kord guy. You know, so even one of my friend, my boy Mario, there, you met him. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
like you think Booster Gold's gonna show up in the movie? Like, it's like, what the fuck would he show up? Like, this is Jaime Reyes. Like, and the character I through Brave and the Bold, the cartoon, I grew to enjoy because I liked
Mm-hmm.
his episodes there, and then I read him in other episodes, and then what they did with his adventures, aside from the bad Spanglish, was actually kind of cool in the New 52. So like okay, like I'm open for the movie. The trailer did a good job, and then
Mm-hmm.
so based on the trailer, I would have given it a 4. Based on your review, I give your review like a 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I feel, and like obviously, like I didn't grow up in a Spanish speaking household, but I I
And
went.
your parents, they both speak Spanish,
I know,
and
but
they live in LA. Like, they should be cussing out people.
but I grew up around a lot of Spanish speaking people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And it's like Belizeans don't do Spanglish.
yeah.
They either they either speak English or they speak Spanish. But like like some of my closest friends are like Mexican families, like Mexican families in Los Angeles. So I grew up and went to their houses and spent the night and listened to a lot of Spanglish and like watch things happen at the house. And it's like
Did you
to
think
me,
their
I was
parents
looking.
were mad, but they weren't really mad?
Say again.
Did you think their parents were mad, but they weren't really mad?
Sometimes, look, and like the thing that always tripped me out the most was how Mexican siblings always like refer to their parents, even when they're
Their parents.
speaking to their siblings as my dad and my mom. And I was like,
Yeah.
why are you saying it's my mom, my dad? Like it's both of you. It's like our mom, our dad, or just mom or dad, right? And they're like, nah, it's my dad. I know. like,
I'm working on my thesis for a honorable doctorate from Penn State on that because it is like the Spaniards came and took our land and
yeah.
they took it because we referred it to our land. So
Hmm.
now we need to start referring to everything as mine.
Right.
and we start with our fucking parents. Yeah.
So, but I know for me, there were points in the movie that I'm like, I got jokes because like I grew up in that environment with my friends where I'm like, oh, I get that. Like they make a reference to one of the soap operas. And like the only reason I knew the soap opera was because I grew up with Mexican friends and my grandma watches a lot of novellas too. But I was just like, oh man, I was actually kind of like it kind of took me aback because
Your
like man, I
grandma's
would
pretty much
not have thought I
Latinx.
would have gotten that reference, but I do.
Your grandma's pretty much Latinx, right?
She wouldn't call herself that, but yes. I don't know, like,
Well, no, she's from the old generation. There's only two genders in that
right, exactly, right.
generation.
But then also remember she got those strong English background too. Remember grandma take tea every night. So or not every night, but like every evening, I guess I should say, or afternoon, depending.
Yeah.
But so she got the she
At,
loved she cried when the
Four
queen
bells.
died.
At the Four Bells.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but anyway, so I don't know, man. For me, I was like, I thought that the representation was actually done pretty well. I didn't think of it as condescending. I would love to hear your opinion when you actually do get to see it.
And we do have I know we talked about it last week where there was these articles about it where it's like, oh, if this fails, that's it for you Latinos, you know.
Right.
And we do have a lot, and we've had a lot realistically since Dora and since Taco Bell. Like everybody loves Latino culture. Like reggaeton wouldn't be as big as it is.
That's true.
And it's literally people talking, men and women talking about eating ass. You know, so and it's like apparently everybody likes it too. They just don't. They're not open about it like Latinos are. So
Right.
I feel like Latinos are the new black people. Like everybody wants to be them, but nobody wants to be them.
Wants to be right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Bunch of
this
savages.
movie came out at a perfect time. It should have been marketed better. Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know,
I mean,
man.
what do you want from theaters now? Like the people's TVs have gotten like the quality better than theater screens and the sound quality. Like people have people live in hovels and still have a better sound system and a better TV screen than the average theater. Like, and they don't
Yeah.
have to deal with jerk offs, fucking sticky
Right.
floors, and getting a
I think that's the
blowjob
main thing.
if the movie's too boring. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Blue Beetle. Like I thought this was a superhero movie. It's about family. Here, suck my cock. Yeah, yeah. Like you don't have to deal with that.
Right. Right. No, I mean,
uh,
you're right. Like the people are paying for the convenience, and it's like there's some of us that are like, okay, like I want to go to the theater because I want to have a specific theater experience.
yeah,
But there's a good portion of people that apparently they're like they were only going to the theater because that was the only place they could get to see those movies.
yeah.
And now that you have options, they're like, oh well, if I could watch it at home, like I can't tell you how many people I know that are like they're like I'll wait till it comes to my house.
When I said like, oh, watch it if you can watch it on Max, I'm like, is it on Max? Like, cause
Right.
like I mean, like I literally I watched Flash for the third time on Max the other day. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it by myself. It wasn't for the show. It was I just
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to enjoy it in its full like HD glory.
Mm-hmm.
If you can call it that. Like H like the screener had the better. I could focus on the story more than the actual terrible effects with that screener. But
Yeah.
but realistically, it's like yeah, like it wasn't that long ago. It was in theaters, and right
Right.
now it's like I feel like theaters are the new like they're the AM radio from 40 years ago, and the
Yeah.
FM radio from like 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like theaters are on the way out, and it's going to be a niche market like vinyl, and people are going to want to go see it on a big screen in a dark room. But part of the beauty of that was, I mean, it was like even like, I'm giving my age and shit now, but people used to fly and like dress to fly. on a
Right.
plane. You know,
It's true.
and I feel like theater is like lost that way before the pandemic. The pandemic was
Hmm.
the nail in the coffin because it's like theater used to
Yeah.
be like an event, even if it
Right.
was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go see 3 movies a day, sneak into one, but it's like there was some
Hmm.
reverence of being in a silent, dark room, some
Right.
courtesy of the people around you, and that shit's
Right.
gone. You know,
Yeah.
like people
You're
don't
right.
have, and it's almost like I'm an old fogey for saying it, but it's really what it is. It's like the idea of hanging out with a bunch of strangers is now scary because it
Yeah.
could be a shooter, it could be a killer, it could be somebody that's hopped up on some shit, or somebody that thinks you looked at them the wrong way.
You're
And
right.
I've lived that in the last month. It's like, you know what? Maybe I don't need fast food anymore. You
Right.
know, and
Right.
that's the next one to go. Like theaters is when theaters dies, fast food's the next one. You know,
Damn. That would suck.
yeah. Like the Prophet
So
Moses' book.
there it is. All right. Well, shoot. What you don't have to take the time to go to a theater to do is read some comics. Y'all ready to talk about Void Rivals?
Yeah, I would play
All
the
right.
music, but my Edison is
No.
full of
It,
shit.
okay. No. Look. I'm sorry.
Review. Like review. Well, not like that, but like.
All right. Void Rivals. Mo, you want to tell us about what Void Rivals is all about?
It's another reason why I hate you guys too, because I had no idea what it was, and I hadn't read it till I tried to make the the thumbnail for this week's show. The shit you see behind us here, like
Hmm.
here's my face, here, like here's the comic book art on that side. Um, and then I see like Starscream in one of the third printing covers. I'm like, what the fuck, like. And, with Image, I'm used to it because of crossover. Like, there's,
Hmm.
they pay for licensing for funny shit like that, or, or they do like a Walking Dead tribute cover. But there was an inordinate amount of variants that had Transformers in it. So now I'm like, oh shit, is this part of a Transformers shared universe now that Skybound has it?
Hmm.
So I was primed for it. And I know when you suggested this book to read, you're like, I'm not gonna tell you what it's about. I'm not gonna tell you, like, from what I know about it. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. And I guess at that point you hadn't even read it. And
No, I
so
read it.
I'm reading it. Oh, okay. So I'm reading it thinking like waiting for all this stuff. But really, the story is about two warring ancient civilizations. Yeah, it's not saga, but it's two warring civilizations that have similar methods to different ideologies, and they hate each other, and they have preconceived notions of each other, and they one warrior, because she's clearly not a pilot. Spoilers if you didn't read issue 3. Um, they get sent on a mission to secure a comet that could give them some hydrogen and water and all that shit for their little donut where they live, because it's not a halo, it's a donut. And which also pissed me off because I'm like, see, like, if these conspiracy theories that thought about the flat Earth had any kind of scientific background to their bullshit, to the shit in their brain, they would think
Mhm.
about a halo over. Because I know they say the donut, and this book does do more of a donut, but it's really like that's not conducive for gravity. Like a ring, like Halo One, is more is more like donut or Elysium, if you've seen that movie. For those of you who
Mhm.
don't play video games. But but yeah, they live in a world like that where they had to bake peace to create this donut that they live in. They call it the sacred ring, and then now they're both racing towards a comet to get some resources because they both need it. One needs it more than the other, but that's for you to decide who should get it. Like when you read the comic. in the middle of it, fucking what is it like Jetfire or one of these Decepticons comes out, and he just like they crash on this like planetoid or asteroid thing that had too much gravity, and it has a little bit of an atmosphere, and it turns into that movie Enemy Mine. I don't, again, I'm dating myself, but they're like they have to join forces for their survival because they're like really like our ideologies are shit, but we want if we want to survive, we can kill each other when we're in our own atmosphere. But right
Right.
now, like we need to get off of here, and they run into like jet fire, and and then he leaves, yeah, and it's like oh shit, this was the Transformers book, which is what I saw in these fucking oh, there's a virus. Okay, never mind. There's a virus trying to attack my computer.
Oh
As
no.
the group comes back up, yeah, but it couldn't. Thank
Good.
you, Oz. But yeah. So you got a cameo from Jetfire, and then it goes back into the story, and then yeah, that's pretty much issue one. They get off. They Jimmy up or Mickey Mouse, but I don't think you can say Mickey Mouse in this context anymore. But you can they Mickey Mouse one of the engines that they find, and they can get off this little planetoid, and then go free. But yeah, it's really these two warring civilizations that are somehow in the Transformers universe, and
Yeah.
and yeah, this book is like it turns out there's an Energon universe for Skybound now, since they have uh, the Transformers rights, and this is what they chose to give you before anything, right? Because they haven't given you any Transformers book yet, right? Yeah,
No,
so
no, Transformers doesn't come out, I don't think, until October.
no, September 20th. They said. Uh,
Is it September? I
for
thought it was October.
oh well, I guess the next issue comes out September 20th. Um, was it like the GI Joe, like the Duke and the Cobra book come out at the end of the week? Apparently, that's part of the same universe too. But they call it
Mm-hmm.
Energon universe.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, like so, this is me telling you about this book objectively. Don't take none of this as a review because I do have my opinions of it, and you might not believe it, but I didn't give you any of those in this description.
Now, Jay, did you get to go and read issue one blind, or did you already know it was part of the Transformers universe before
No,
you read it?
I went in blind.
Okay.
And man, I tell you, they found Jetfire.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, man,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Dude, it was done pretty
That
perfect.
was such a great moment for me. And
Yeah.
I had to read it twice. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
read it again, and I was like, damn it, that is so cool.
Right.
And then,
Yeah,
when
man.
you get to the end of the issue, they talk about the Energon universe, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, I'm on board for that. Like, that sounds
Yeah.
fucking badass.
Yeah. It's really interesting just because. Oh wait, what were you gonna say, Mo?
No, I like it like the lettering when they transform. Like you don't see
Yeah.
it's just you just see like a close up of the rusted metal, and it's like, and I'm like, that reads oddly familiar,
Right. Right.
As a
Absolutely.
as a shareholder of IDW, I am angry as fuck. We lost the Transformers. Yeah, and by we I mean me and Jay.
Wait, what?
Jay's a shareholder too. Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, it's so funny because I mean, I'm pretty sure we did the story on the show when they talked about that the Transformers license was moving over. Well, we talked about it when it got lost by IDW, and we talked about it when Skybound said that they were going to get it, and had books coming down the pipe. But they did a good job of having Void Rivals not have any, like, none of the promo for Void Rivals made it seem like it was going to be part of the Transformers books at all.
Well,
And
honestly,
so,
I think Kirkman had this story ready, and he's like, well, let's throw Transformers in it.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, you
It
know, I mean,
feels like that, but I'm not mad at him. Like, he can do what he wants, and it works. Like, if anything, it's probably one of the most interesting. Like, I have a brother that texts me randomly with different Transformers things he's watching it. So it's like Transformers Earthrise, N-word,
right.
you know, like, and it's like,
Should not be
so
using
I called him up and I said, Void Rivals, N-word, and they hung up. I'm not texting him. I'm calling this motherfucker. You know?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
If I have you on my cabinet, we can't have those text messages getting out.
No, but I actually said N-word, not the N-word word. Like,
either way,
N-word.
either way, like by the time you're on the cabinet, you won't
Yeah,
even be
look,
able to say the
next
N-word.
president might be running from jail, so he could say,
I'm like
he could say
Moses,
that
the N-word scandal. But
you'll be lucky
yeah,
if that's
man,
the
but
only scandal, man.
they messed around and like kept it real separate, like even in, you know, like the promo for it. And so, you know, Void Rivals was a book I knew was coming, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's Robert Kirkman doing something new. And I'm like, it looks like some sci-fi stuff, and I'm like, I'll check that out. And man, I had the exact same reaction you did, Jay, because, and the funny part was when she's like, oh, there's another ship I found another ship. And when they showed like the ship at first, you know, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay, so there is another ship. And you know, they're trying to like, there was a scene, I think, where they were like trying to power it up or something. And I'm looking at it then and I'm like, huh? It looked kind of familiar. You know, like I really like literally looking at the ship, like it looks a little familiar. Like I was like, huh. It's like they kind of like, I'm thinking like they're kind of using like, you know, like aping a design from something that, you know, I recognize or something. Yeah. And then just like you said, Mo, when it starts making like the, you know, it starts showing the noise, and I'm like, dude, is this showing transforming? Like, you know, I'm like, is it about to transform? And I'm like, dude, I was like, dude, no, there's no way, because when it did, the transforming sound started, I was like, oh, it looks like Jetfire. It looks like I don't know, it looks like Jetfire, and then it was like, oh, it was Jetfire, and I was like, dude, I can't believe that Jetfire's in this book, and it was so perfect because it's not like there was like a whole lot of time you spent with Jetfire. It wasn't like he gave a whole bunch of information. He was just like, where? He's like, dude, where am I? He's like, wait a minute, have I been here? How long have I been here? He's like, dude, I gotta go. And he was gone, and that was it. And I was like, damn, like where's this fool going? He's going to Cybertron, but I'm like, why didn't he stay?
But the beauty of it is like what he did. Like he looked at his hands and like, there's been mold here. Like there's not enough moisture, but that gives you a sense that there's oxygen, which plays into the story too. Like so, it's like I wish Oz was here because I know that would be like one of the things. Like we watched the Green Lantern cartoon where they land on a similar structure in space, but they like not. They take off, they power down, and like there's no atmosphere on the asteroid. And then here they called it a planetoid. And then they did that. So it's like, and one of the things I told you, Larry, earlier when I saw you earlier today in pre-production, it was like, I really wish like Jonathan Hickman would have wrote this because it feels like a little too accessible. Like everything, like the sci-fi stuff is tight, but I feel like I'm watching like that Babylon 5 thing we did last week, or like Firefly, where it's like, man, I would have loved something like this, but more on a Star Trek level, you know? So, but either way, like it's so like knowing that it's in the Transformers universe, like at least from the covers, like I didn't know how deep it was in it. Like I'm like, okay, they're probably like, I know they're gonna be there. It's probably like those Disney Tron covers. So I still gave it a benefit of the doubt, but I had that deep in my mind. Like, okay, nah, the Image doesn't do stupid shit like Marvel does. And then, because realistically, like, those Tron covers were stupid. Like,
hey, I hear you. I'm not mad at
Yeah,
you.
like they're not even rare. Like they're not worth any money. So it's like it's a waste of. It's literally a waste of paper. But um, so I'm like, okay, they're probably doing that. But I guess for Skybound, like that's promotional. Like the tax write off. They're a smaller
Mm-hmm.
company. Like
Mm-hmm.
they got like good people to do those covers, like Daniel Warren from Dual
Yeah.
Powerbomb. And it turns out this motherfucker's actually writing and drawing the next Transformers book. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so he was one of the variants for this, and so I'm like, but and then seeing it happen, I was like, oh shit. And did you guys read more than issue one or no?
Yeah. We read
Yeah.
all three.
Okay, okay, good, good. When they show the quintessons, I'm like, oh shit! Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
already know this is in that universe, but the way they show that and the way it plays into the story, it's like even more than a cameo. Like with
Yeah.
Jetfire, I was like, okay, it's a cameo, but it still moves the story along to
Mm-hmm.
where the story needs to go. So even if they made the story and then crowbarred it into the Energon universe just for money, like the
Right.
shit is still fucking tight. Yeah. And the way the Quintesson played out, like I was like, oh shit, like I love this. Yeah,
Dude, it's crazy because like yeah, that Quintesson again, it's just like and what I think the main thing with
technically
this
they had a
book,
Scorponok in there too,
I don't think that's Scorponok.
but I'm gonna call it. I want to call it
Okay. I
that.
hear you. I hear you.
We've had
But
shitty Scorponok already, like in every medium. So why not in
right.
comics?
Why
Yeah,
not this one? You're right.
yeah,
Um the thing that I think I like the most about Void Rivals is that like the book is enjoyable. Like I was enjoying that book before I got to the Jetfire cameo. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like this. You know what I'm saying? This is real interesting. I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm invested. And then when that happens, it's like, oh, like that's a whole nother reason for me to be engaged. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was already engaged, but now I'm like, oh, okay. So like, shoot, like I didn't even know. Cool. But then what I like is that, like, in issue 2, you don't really get like a hardcore kind of Transformers cameo, you know? Um uh but issue 3, like you said, you get the Quintesson, which, depending on how much you know about Transformers or how much you've watched Transformers, you might not even see that Quintesson and know that that's like a part of the Transformers universe. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even like the more like when people think of Quintessons, that Quintesson isn't the one they usually think about. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
that type of Quintesson. But
But it makes
um
sense that he's the one that's been captured. Yeah,
oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, that Quintesson's definitely the fall guy. You know what I'm saying?
he's
So
a
no question of
wrestler.
that.
Like if you were doing a Quintesson censored sci-fi show. He's like the red shirt, the quintessence. Yeah.
but it was cool because it was just like it's like the book is interesting on its own, and then it just kind of peppers in the little bit of lore here and there so far, and it's like, oh, that's cool when it happens. It's like a bonus to the comic, because the comic is cool. um I'm pretty sure though that like that I feel like we've seen those pig things before, right? Like that alien like that captures them. I feel like we've seen that before too, but I can't
I
exactly
feel,
place.
I agree.
Yeah. So,
It
but
felt really familiar, and I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
place it, but it seemed familiar to me. Like,
And it very well might be like an alien from a Transformers episode, and I'm just not remembering it. Like I could imagine it's probably like one of those post movie episodes, and like a season 3. Well, not even 4 because 4 is all headmaster stuff, but season 3, and like want to go
I
to
mean,
one of those
they probably
planets and
weren't.
those guys are there.
They probably weren't portrayed in that way either. Like I feel like that character felt like tied to this story,
Hmm.
or his personality.
Yeah, 100%. Like it doesn't like none of it feels like it's mashed together. And that's the thing. So like, and that honestly, when they announced that because I think they even mentioned before when they made the announcement that Skybound is doing the Transformers books, they mentioned that they're going to do the G.I. Joe books as well, and that it's going to be like a shared universe. And
Keep reminding us.
when and so
Our money's
that
going down the
always
drain.
say again.
Like our money's going down the drain.
But what I'm saying is when anytime they try to do a Transformers, anytime they try to do a Transformers and anything shared universe, I'm always like a little bit skeptical because a lot of things don't fit with Transformers. You know, like as much as I like G.I. Joe, and I feel like G.I. Joe can fit with Transformers, but it's definitely a thing where sacrifices are made when those two things combine to me. You know what I mean? It's not like if you're gonna mess around and say, okay, we're gonna have a world where Transformers and G.I. Joe have always existed together, you can do that. And it can be interesting and fun, but you lose a little bit on the Transformers side and you lose a little bit less on the G.I. Joe side because they already have vehicles and stuff. So it kind of feels a little bit more natural for them. But you definitely lose something on the Transformers side. And as a Transformers fan, more so than a G.I. Joe fan, it's like I don't want that to happen. And so, you know, even with Skybound, I was like, okay, well, you know, those guys make good stuff over there. I'm like, I'll give it a shot, but I wasn't excited about the idea of a shared universe with G.I. Joe and Transformers, even from them. But now that I've seen this and read these books, I'm like, you know what? I don't know how it's going to work because I don't know if they're going to like future up G.I. Joe or if they're going to have like some type of past connection type stuff where it's like, you know, maybe they might do the G.I. Joe stuff in the present time and the Transformers. Like, so you're telling like stories that lead up to what we're looking at now, or maybe not. Maybe it'll all be all going on at the same time. And, you know, the people that we're looking at are just, you know, they're different. They're aliens that have higher levels of technology, even though they're in our time period. I don't know. But I'm definitely like a little less skeptical of the whole thing and more interested to see what goes on the G.I. Joe side of things, even though it's going to be connected into all one.
So, what you've read here, the quality of the story, you read all three already?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you feel? Well, like, how do you feel about like the Transformers like proper book that's gonna be coming out?
I'm excited for the.
I said Jake.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to know who the girl is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't recognize her, and I know you're like a huger Transformers fan than I am.
Yes, that's true.
I didn't recognize her, and I like for a second I was kind of thinking maybe she's like the girl from GoBots. But for right now, like I don't know.
Like Skybound might make that really cool.
Right. But
how about the art? Like, you know, that preview that you got. Like, how'd you like the art?
I liked it. Like, it's not like okay. Obviously, the Dreamwave art is just amazing.
Right.
This isn't that, but it's a lot more rugged, like a lot more
rustic.
Yeah, like rough, like on purpose. And for the scene where you know everyone is crashed out, like it looks good.
Which was a straight homage.
Right.
Same question to me, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been looking forward to the book. like when we went to Comic-Con, I was asking the guy, I'm like, so what are you gonna do with this? Because they had a big Transformers promo thing there. I'm like, what are they gonna do with these banners, my guy?
On Instagram, go click on those to see Larry in his like Transformers experience.
Right. And I'm like, what are they gonna do with these banners? And he's like, oh, they're gonna go back to Skybound for for these guys. But he's like, I've already heard though, like the cats saying that like they're calling dibs on the different art pieces to put into their offices and stuff. And I'm like, damn, like I gotta go get a job at Skybound now. Like so I can get some of this Transformers. Yeah.
Like that.
Oh no.
Good.
Mo's back.
Yeah, sorry. My internet probably came back.
You said you've been a fan of him?
Yeah, for a while, like just on Instagram, like his fan art. And that's where I'm like, like I love Daniel Warren's art in his own book, Dual Power Bomb. And then I love him in general. But there's a dude, Eric Canete. Like if you look up Eric Canete Transformers art, and he was doing this before Daniel Warren got hired to do Transformers. Like he's been doing this for years, and he would do Transformers art, and it's like halfway between like the Dreamwave shit and this rugged shit. Like I feel it's like a happy marriage, and I'm like, I'm a little bit. I'm mad he didn't get a book or a cover here either. Like
how do you spell his last name?
It's Canete. I posted his art in our Discord before. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, was it Transformers art?
A part of it was, but he does a lot of X-Men. Like he's done his own comic books and stuff, and he did a mech book that was actually really good, but I didn't get. I think it's called like Love and Robots or some shit. But I couldn't I didn't get to buy it at the time because I was like too busy and struggling. But he he did some X-Men stuff, and right now he just does independent stuff, but he's really good too.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
Like this dude could really do like the Dreamwave and now again, like when you're making comics, like are you gonna make a panel that looks like this? Like this is gonna be a cover easily, but are you gonna do a panel? So and I think that's where Daniel Warren shines, where he could make every panel looks like he could be a cover, but he could do it on time. I don't know what Eric Canete is like. He just posts these pictures and I'm in, but I don't know how long it takes, But realistically, like if they do a white cover for like even Void Rivals, like I would have him. I would pay him top dollar.
Whatever. Sure. Now, what I especially like about that particular like art style is how he takes like he takes artistic license with the character, but it almost feels like it's a little bit more in the spirit of the character, where it's like Soundwave doesn't look like that, but the changes he made almost makes it look more like Soundwave than less like Soundwave. Like damn. Again, that same kind of like Optimus Prime doesn't look like that, but the changes make it more Optimus Prime like, not less.
Like you can hear the voice from the cartoon coming out of that more than you do like the Michael Bay shit,
Oh, 100% easy. Easy. Yeah. So, damn, like that angle with that gun. Right. right. We were saying the same thing, Jay.
His comic book, I forget
man.
You said the what?
I forget the name.
The rifling.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry.
The what do I call that shit? The way that his comic book, I can't remember the name, but it was like a 6-issue Image series, and it was like mechs, and like he did this on every panel. So
that's crazy.
It's like this dude is a super underrated dude that should be like, I mean, he should be doing the Nimrod shit with X-Men. He should be doing the Sentinel shit with X-Men. Like, but nobody. I don't know why I don't know if it's a timing issue or whatever, but he should be working more, and I'm
Yeah.
mad that he isn't. But I'm also happy. Well,
Where's he live?
potentially happy. He lives here in the U.S. Yeah,
I'm
but
a
I guess
little
that's the price. They
from
gotta pay him in dollars. Like Marvel likes to play people. Like they like people from Indonesia and shit. That are
Oh my
interested money.
god. It's a
so this
Veritech.
isn't a transformer. It's a
Yeah,
Veritech.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, look,
He
you're telling
loves.
the audience. I understand, Jay, but I'm like, look, how dare you? Like, we know it's not a transformer, even or it's Skyfire. It's Skyfire. No,
But yeah, if you follow him
yeah.
on Instagram, like he does this. Like there's a new picture of this like every day or so. Like
Oh, dude,
or work in progress. Like
I need to follow him immediately.
like he's
Immediately.
so good. Like I really wish
Damn.
he would have more work. You know.
Yeah.
And again, like I mean, I've never met him, but I want him to do one of my white covers. But it's
Yeah.
like
Of course.
for me, like what's the white cover? Like, oh here's the Wolverine. Can you draw Wolverine? It's like, you know, like it's dumb. Like I would want him to do some mech shit, but it's like we don't have Evangelion comics, which he did do an Evangelion picture that was fucking amazing. Yeah.
Oh, see. Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
that's just Iron
wild. It's
Man
like,
in like a fighting pose, like
yeah, it's like Iron Man Mark One kind of like, like
yeah.
like a little amalgam Mark One mixed with friggin' 5.0. No, Mark
Yeah.
5. Like, but going back.
And he does this shit
Go,
on actual paper. Like, and not to take anything
damn.
from Daniel Warren. Like, I think
Oh no.
together, like, if we got an Autobot book and a Decepticon book, like, give one to each.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we all
Absolutely.
benefit as fans.
Yep. Yep. And going back, like talking, like Jay had mentioned the preview pages from the or what seemed like preview pages from the Transformers book. The only person that comes to mind, obviously, in regards to who the girl is Carly, which is ends up being Spike's wife in it, like in the whatchamacallit, in the animated joint.
Transformers animated?
No, not Transformers animated. The in whatchamacallit, like in the G1 series. Like, you don't remember the chick? She
I don't remember her.
Oh, she looks different. Like her she's blonde.
And
But
white?
yeah, she's white.
Because I was like, Daniel, no. That can't be her kid.
I mean, I think that's their kid, I think. I'm pretty sure. So, but Transformers has a weird continuity all the time anyway, which is part of the reason. Honestly, that's the main reason why I always kind of like, I get a little weird when they start trying to put other things with Transformers, because Transformers is hard to reconcile within itself. You know what I'm saying? So
that's also why Boy Rivals works. Like bringing it back to what we're actually, because
yeah,
it is like it could be crowbarred in. Like I feel like it was something else, and then he decided to put it in there. It's still a good story, but it's not like they promoted it as part of it either. So
right,
it's just, but you know how Kirkman does. Like we didn't know we
right.
were having a last Walking Dead comic. Yeah.
Right, exactly. He just like 2 weeks out from it, and it's like, oh, that's gonna be the
Yeah.
last issue. What?
The
Right?
solicitation. He didn't say that's who's this Jay?
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, that did show up when I typed in. That's one of the pictures that showed up.
I mean,
it looks a little different.
It's in color, so
yeah,
that could change things. But
I've seen him do Unicron, and it didn't look like this before.
yeah.
but I
Like,
mean, it's just it could just be attributed to him through a meta tag or something.
Right.
It's not a bad one,
And
but it's
no,
definitely after promotion for sizes. a little more than I like.
Yeah, it definitely has like one of these kids kind of feeling where it's like this one, and it sticks out, and not just
It's
because
like
of the color. It
it's like
feels busier.
Unicron in Earth Spark.
Right. Right. That's funny.
You
But
watch Earth
anyway,
Spark? Did you watch it?
I've seen 2 episodes of it.
It's not entirely intolerable, right?
No, it's not. I might finish watching it. We'll see. It's like,
Speaking of headmasters, you mentioned earlier.
Uh-huh.
You think they might be planning that? Like
Yeah,
with the
I do.
Blood Rivals?
I think so. Absolutely. Because
It like
once
makes
once they
sense.
mentioned the Nebulon ship, I was like, oh, we're getting headmasters.
Yeah.
And I thought that even before, just because,
And they
with
mentioned that one war too, right? Like the one like where it's like, oh, now everybody they hear that war, everything's all bad after centuries. They judge us with different way, like
Mhm.
that's something too, right? Like I'm not a Transformers guy like you guys are, but I know that means something. And if you don't know, I'm calling the wrong people N word. I should call my brother.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I like, even when, looking at them in their suits, like the suits almost have like, I mean, obviously the suits have like a mech kind of thing because it's space suits
Yeah.
and, futuristic, but, you know, like there's a point where they're even talking, they were talking about modifying the suits and all that. And I was just like, oh, like, yeah, like this definitely is giving me like a little bit of headmasters kind of energy here. And then after the dude was talking about, hey, I'll trade you your ship for this Nebulon ship, I'm like, oh, definitely, we're getting headmasters. And I don't know if it's going to be like all of those people are going to be headmasters, like one of the 2 races of people, the was it Agorans and the Zentonians or whatever. But I feel like, yeah, I think somewhere along the line we're going to see it. Yes. So
I do wish it was more like Saga, because I'm like, oh man, she's in love with him. Like even when she tried to kill him in issue like 3, like, oh man, she loves him, you know. But
oh man, she loves him.
they cut that bullshit in Saga like right off the bat. I
Yeah,
think it
right.
opens up with them fucking like him coming inside her, you know. But it's definitely like, oh, okay, I see your foreplay. You want to take your
Right.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
He's developing the characters.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too,
Which is
though.
what
I
I
mean,
hated of issue 2 because, like, I love jumping in and not knowing anything and then seeing Jetfire. Okay, this is where we're at, and then I feel like issue 2, like those first like 4 pages, was like waste of time giving me the lore. But it's like, I mean, eventually I get it. Like as I was like judging it while reading it, I was still like, okay, they gotta give it to me sometime because if they don't give it to me, I'm gonna be mad. So it's like, might as well do it here. And that's why I
right.
wish it was like Jonathan Hickman that wrote it, because then it would just be 1 page of prose, and then I could get some more cool comics.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny though, because it's interesting because they're people that are very much against the data page kind of format, but
Yeah,
a data page
I'm one of
really
them. But like a data page here. Oh, sorry, Larry. I think that's what you were gonna say. Sorry.
well, I'm saying it lets you get more comics sometimes because, right, like
Yeah,
you could just like friggin' Kirkman here, literally, like you said, he took like probably like 3 or 4 pages and
and the splash
filled it.
like or centerfold
Right,
was like,
exactly.
yeah,
Right, to like put all the exposition down there and give this guy a vision, which he had mentioned before. So it's good that we saw it, but it's like one of
yeah,
those things where it's like, yeah, that could have technically been one data page, and the rest could go on to like more story formatted type stuff. But Hickman. I mean Hickman. I'm sorry, Kirkman enjoys like the slow burn to develop these characters. Like, it's like there are definitely parts of this, especially having read issue 2 and 3, that definitely make me feel like, oh, like this is definitely like the Walking Dead kind of vibe, where it's like, you have characters meeting, and this is where they started, but by the time you get to like issue 26, 27, 50, you're like, those characters are on a whole completely different place. And when you go back, you're like, damn, yeah, they did start off like this, didn't they? You know what I'm saying? So,
And that's where, like, even him giving me the exposition that way, like, it's not what I would have wanted, or what but it works here. And, it makes me think of other comic books, but realistically, that's kind of like, that's a testament to the medium, too, because it's like,
right.
you enjoy comics. Every comic is different. You enjoy every comic differently, and like, and this really just cements that in my brain. And it's still like, okay, I can be critical about it, but it doesn't take away from the book that he did it that way, you know.
Right.
And because I like the way the book is written, like him talking about his vision and everything was like fine without knowing the lore, you know. And I'm good with it. And and then he's like, okay, so I cannot wait till Michael Bay fucks this up. Well,
You get Void Rivals in.
Subjectively fucks it up because it could still make a bunch of money because Michael Bay's the movies aren't subjectively fucked up. Transformers isn't subjectively or objectively fucked up. It's subjectively fucked up, but it's only fucked up for like us. Yeah, everybody else gives it its money. So I don't want to be hard on Michael Bay, and I really don't want to be hard because on Michael Bay because I really think like if they do make the movie, Larry should voice the Handroid. Like I heard Larry's voice as I read the Handroid. Like like Larry is the only choice. Lawrence Michael Young Jr. Second, like
I'm not a junior.
no,
No.
okay, yeah,
No.
like Lawrence Michael Young Esquire should be the voice of the Handroid. Yeah, and I'm putting it out there. So I'm not even calling Michael Bay's Transformers a fuck up. I'm calling it a subjective fuck up, but it's a success. It's a success. Objectively, I can't say you fucked it up. Subjectively, I can because Lawrence Young needs to be the voice of the Handroid.
That's hilarious. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate it. When I read the
You don't
Handroid, which
appreciate
I
me,
just
man.
love. Say again.
Like I appreciate you. Like if you'd never existed in my life, I would have had some weird ass voice in my head when I read all that.
Like I definitely, I was like, dude, just the idea of a Handroid, I thought was awesome. Like I was just like, oh, that's like I mean, it's a ridiculous kind of play on words. Like but it's kind of perfect. And it's just the idea of like, why would you have like an android on your hand? But I guess we see why, right? Because the android what got this fool out the ship. This fool was asleep the whole time, and I was like, damn, like that.
Like realistically, anything he needed to do besides waking up, like he would need an R2 unit to do. So it's like the hand works perfect. Like the hand is mightier than the sword, especially when you got a Handroid.
Yeah. So, all right.
I'm mad that the chick didn't have a Handroid. Like, but again, the book is in this dude's perspective, so she could have something else that we were ignoring the whole time.
Maybe. I mean, like she has like the spear, the warrior spear thing, but realistically though, it's like one of the things that the book did really well, at least in my opinion, is through the two characters you see the differences in the two cultures and where they're at. And you get more of that as the story progresses, but it's like I know from my perspective, you definitely get the idea that the dude is the A race, Agrorians or Agrorians. I don't know how to say it because it's too new. Ogorians, I think. But the Ogorians definitely have have more resources than the Zetonians. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you know, I know that the Zetonians are like on. I mean, they need the water bad, right? So they need that water. But even outside of things like the water, it just feels like, you know, they're in a little bit rougher shape, and so it kind of makes sense that they don't have like random handroids to just hand out. Don't forget your handroid. Oh yeah, no. So
well, even like the dude isn't like the dude royalty, like
yeah, I think
like
he is.
he's
Yeah,
like disappointment to royalty. It's
yeah. So yeah, so it's cool, man. It's a really interesting book, and it's like I love that it's interesting outside of the Transformers connections, and I love even more so that the Transformers connections are a part of it because they're doing them
like
really interesting and well.
Like the Transformers aspect is like cheese,
Yeah,
but it's still chili fries with like special sauce.
there it is.
And then you add cheese on top. It's like shit. We're all gaining 20 pounds.
There it is. Let's rate this bad boy. Oh, what do you say, Jay?
No, I was saying we should rate.
Okay, cool. Moses Magnum.
I only have like 10% battery, so it's a 5. It's easily a 5. Like when I got my copies of it, I didn't know about the Transformer stuff, and just the covers I enjoyed. So it's like I judged the book by cover. So I'm like, okay, I'll get all 3. I'm just gonna get all 3 because like I know if I read one, if I don't, I like the cover for issue 1, the first print cover. If I read it and it's an image book. Like I know I'm gonna need issue 2. Like even if it's like, even if it's bad, I'm gonna need issue 2 to realize it's bad. You know,
right?
And then I realize there's 3 out. I'm like, okay, I'm getting all 3, and then yeah, like I love like I can't wait to throw it in my brother's face. Like this is like Transformer shit you haven't seen, you fuck. Yeah. So the whole thing's a 5. Like even without the Transformers, it's a 5.
Yeah,
The Transformers stuff makes it different. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just mad Spider-Man isn't part of this.
Hey, never say never. No.
They did it with crossover. They could do it with this.
Right. Jay, what would you rate Void Rivals?
I would give it a 5. Like I'm enjoying it. Visually, I like the art. I like the Halo. Like I don't know, something about it just like resonates with me. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like the Transformers stuff is just the sprinkles on top.
Right.
This is actually a really good book with interesting characters, and I want to see more of them.
There it is. 5 as well. Look, you already know. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy how good it is and how much I'm enjoying it. And it's like it's hitting all the right notes for me. So I'm looking forward to not only the continuing story in Void Rivals, but the entire Energon universe. Like I can't wait to see what they do with it. I'm hoping it's as good as it's begun. So there it is. All right. Man, time flies. All right. Jay, what's your final thoughts, man?
Go check out Gran Turismo. Like, it's really good. Fun movie. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Yeah, man. Like, go check out Gran Turismo. Jay sold me on it. But yeah, I guess that's it for me. Like, try to hit the bell. There's stuff. I promise you, there's stuff coming down the line. But yeah, I have a dual identity. I can only do this superhero shit so much during the day. But yeah, I can just go give us likes and shit, so that when we land with shit, like it'll make us fly.
There it is. I was like, Mo's getting ready to take off his glasses, transform into Magnum. There he is. There he is. Like, for the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do really appreciate you. Like Mo said, hit the like button. Drop us some comments. Let us know what it is that you do like about the show. If you don't like something about the show, you can tell us. We can take it. We'll go ahead and maybe incorporate that constructive criticism. But realistically speaking, we're the Fantastic Forum. Have a good night.